In a world divided by borders, ideas travel freely. We explore the stories, powers, and forces shaping our world. At the heart of today's global tension lies a rivalry, not on the battlefield, but across economies, technology, and influence. For nearly 8 decades, one currency has ruled the world, the US dollar. It is the backbone of global trade, the lifeline of international finance, and the ultimate symbol of American power. But what if that dominance is fading? Today, a powerful alliance of nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa is quietly building a new economic world order. They call themselves BRICS, and their mission is bold: end the era of dollar dominance, and to reshape how the world does business. This is not just an economic story. It's a story about power, sovereignty, and the biggest shift in global influence since World War II. To understand this shift, we need to go back to a time when the world was in ruins. In 1944, as World War II drew to a close, delegates from 44 nations gathered in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Their goal? To design a stable global financial system. The result was revolutionary: the Bretton Woods Agreement. Under this new system, most world currencies were tied to the US dollar, and the dollar itself was tied to gold. The United States, which held 2/3 of the world's gold reserves, became the center of global finance. For decades, countries used the dollar for trade, investments, and energy purchases, especially oil. By the 1970s, after the US abandoned the gold standard, the petrodollar system kept America's influence alive. Every nation needed dollars to buy oil, giving Washington immense control. The dollar was no longer just money, it was power, leverage, and even a weapon. But history never stands still. As the world entered the early 2000s, new economic giants were on the rise, led by China, India, and Brazil. These nations grew rapidly, industries expanded, their global presence increased, yet the international financial system continued to favor the West. They had massive populations, booming economies, and ambitious governments. But their voice on the world stage remained small. Then came the 2008 global financial crisis. Western economies were shaken to their core. Banks collapsed, and the world saw how fragile the system truly was. Confidence cracked, doubt spread, and that moment sparked something new. In 2009, four emerging powers, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, united to form BRIC. 2 years later, South Africa joined, creating what we now know as BRICS. Today, these nations represent over 50% of the global population, more than 40% of global GDP, and rising influence in global institutions. But BRICS was never just about trade. It was about choice. It was about independence. A declaration that any single region should not dictate the future, or any single ideology. Developing nations deserve a louder voice, fairer rules, and room to shape their own destiny. Today, as the world becomes more multipolar, BRICS is no longer just a reaction to Western dominance. It's becoming a vision for a new era of global power. And that vision, it is only getting stronger. BRICS began with a simple idea, that in the 21st century, power should be shared, not concentrated in a few Western capitals. Over time, that idea evolved into something far more ambitious: a plan to reshape the global financial order and reduce dependence on the US dollar. Step 1 was the creation of the New Development Bank, or NDB, launched in 2015 as a BRICS-led alternative to the World Bank and IMF. Its mission: to fund infrastructure and development projects across emerging nations, without the political conditions often tied to Western loans. Step 2 was the move toward local currency trade, allowing members to settle deals in their own money, the yuan, rupee, ruble, or real, instead of the dollar. This not only strengthens their financial independence, but also builds trust among member economies. Step 3, the boldest vision yet. is the idea of a shared BRICS currency, possibly backed by gold or key commodities. If realized, it could mark the biggest shift in global finance in decades, directly challenging the dollar's dominance and reducing America's leverage to impose sanctions or control global trade flows. For Washington, this is more than an economic experiment, it's a strategic wake-up call. For BRICS, it's more than just finance, it's about rewriting the rules of global power. And for the rest of the world, it raises a powerful question. What happens when the world's money no longer revolves around one nation? But the road to de-dollarization is anything but easy. It's not just about money, it's about trust, and trust takes decades, not years, to build. The US dollar still dominates the world stage. Nearly 60% of global foreign reserves remain in dollars, and most international trade, loans, and commodities are still priced in it. From oil to technology, global commerce still runs on greenbacks. And while BRICS dreams of rewriting the rules, reality keeps reminding them. The system they're trying to replace is deeply entrenched. Even inside BRICS, unity is easier said than done. China towers economically, but India often resists Beijing's political shadow. Russia fights sanctions that isolate it from global finance. Brazil and South Africa wrestle with domestic instability and shifting leadership. 5 nations, 5 different systems, and yet, they hope to move as one. But how do you create a single currency when your economies, politics, and interests pull in different directions? And beyond BRICS, the questions grow louder. Will Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, or Egypt trust a system still in its infancy? Would they risk angering Washington by joining a financial bloc still finding its footing? For BRICS to truly challenge the dollar, it must first build confidence, at home, among members, and across the developing world. Because before any new currency can rise, it must earn the one thing money alone can't buy: global trust. In 2024, BRICS took a bold step, expanding its circle and reshaping the global map of power. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Egypt, and the United Arab Emirates expressed strong interest, and some officially joined the discussions. This move wasn't just symbolic, it was strategic. With Saudi Arabia and Iran, BRICS adds enormous energy leverage, controlling a huge share of the world's oil production and trade. With Egypt and the UAE, it strengthens its grip over vital global trade arteries, the Suez Canal and the Gulf shipping lanes, lifelines of international commerce. Together, these nations could form a vast economic corridor stretching across the Middle East, Asia, Africa, and Latin America, connecting billions of people, resources, and markets under one growing influence. But expansion also brings complexity. Different political systems, rival ambitions, and regional tensions could easily fracture the alliance from within. China seeks leadership, India values independence, Russia wants relevance despite sanctions. And the newcomers, from Riyadh to Tehran, bring their own competing visions. The big question remains: can BRICS evolve from a loose alliance of convenience into a coordinated economic powerhouse? Or will its internal divisions and competing interests tear it apart before it ever reaches maturity? The future of the world economy might not belong to one superpower anymore. Instead, it could belong to many, each shaping its own region, each building new alliances, and each defining its own vision of progress. The United States will remain powerful, but no longer unchallenged, as new centers of influence rise across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The rise of BRICS marks not just an economic shift, but the return of a truly multipolar world. A world where influence is shared, cooperation and rivalry coexist, and competition replaces dominance. From trade and technology to energy and finance, new systems are emerging that no longer revolve around a single currency or nation. Whether BRICS succeeds or struggles to unite its diverse members, one thing is certain: the age of the dollar's absolute supremacy is beginning to fade, giving way to a more balanced but uncertain global order. The question now is not if the world will change, but how fast it will happen, who will adapt, and ultimately, who will lead that change. Thank you for watching. The world is changing, quietly, steadily, and in ways that few truly understand. New powers are rising, old systems are shifting, and the balance of influence is being rewritten before our eyes. Beyond the headlines, beyond the noise, real change is unfolding, piece by piece. Borders are no longer just lines on a map. They are shifting boundaries of power, ambition, and identity. Here, we look past the surface, to question, to understand, and to connect the dots that others overlook. Because the world isn't black and white, it's everything in between. This is Beyond Borders, where ideas cross lines, voices meet, and stories reveal the truth about the world we're becoming. Because the future doesn't belong to one nation, one system, or one voice, it belongs to all of